If politics has gone wrong in the country, do we simply ignore the people who are fed up with the politics and cast away the voting system, which is in fact a crucial part of democracy? Or do we force all those citizens to voice out what is wrong with the system and how exactly what we have to do to improve the system? So moving on to my 3 questions in today's debate. On the first question, who is solving the problem of people being unaware? We see we already have set up the debate where people are uninformed or are unaware of the capability of their votes, which we have said that we propose a citizenship class to let them know about their rights so they can also demand their rights from the government as well. But what is side opposition doing to solve this? We see they have done absolutely nothing, because they're just saying that these people who simply don't care just don't have to, because it is those citizens' choice to not go to vote. We see they have never told us on how these people who are uninformed and unaware are going to the problem is going to be solved, because we see that this problem needs to be attacked in the society where voting is an essential part of choosing the government. But moving on to my second question on, is mandatory voting necessary? Because voting is there in order to select an efficient government, which has a big impact on the country. Everyone needs to be involved, because we see voting benefits the citizens in the first place, where policies are there to help the people. We see that these citizens has the responsibility when they are under the government's jurisdiction in the first place. When they are citizens, they have to vote. We see no matter what. It is an essential part of democracy. But now we talked about how forcing them will not be the true wishes of these people. Well, first of all, we already see on our paradigm, we are educating these citizens about the political parties, which is solving the problem if they are unaware of those parties that they have to choose. Secondly, we talked about how there is a no vote checkbox on the ballot paper, and we see there's no logical and this is why there's no logical link. If these people are fed up, they're just what side opposition said is that these people are just going to rebel if we force them. We don't see any logical link if there's a no vote box on that paper already. So moving on to my third question on what is the best way to improve the country, because the best way is to ensure that efficient policies are there, where those policies are made from those political parties selected by those voters. But side opposition wants to go through petitions and processes. We already told you that those are minor means, because we see that voting is already a major part, because that is why voting is there in the first place. Voting is there in order to ensure that those governments are going to make policies. Because with petitions and processes, we think that side opposition prefers to have violence in the society to get the right government rather than settling down to vote. But we also see that in their paradigm, at the end of the day, after all those petitions and processes, they need to elect the government anyway. So we see that when these national elections determines the future of the country, the government has to do anything to make sure that these people are informed and are taking part in the election, because these policies are what makes the country and what going to make the country develop at the end of the day. This is why it is important to make sure that all citizens in the country, that their votes and their voices are reflected by the government as well, in order to address minorities, which we see side opposition has not even tackled when we talked about minorities being unable to vote. That is why we are strongly beg to propose. Thank you.